Hey everyone, welcome to another run of Invasive Species and our third Versus edition. Well, having checked the calendar, it's been a little while. Yeah, really sorry about that. I'll go into detail about that a little bit later on in the challenge. Right now, well, let's recap. We've done 3 of these, including this episode, running Volbeat versus Illumise in Fire Red, as well as Nidoqueen and Nidoqueen in Ruby, so we're back in Kanto with a pair of fun mid-evolutions. What's fun about Lombre and Nuzleaf right away is that Water Grass and Grass Dark are type combos not native to Kanto, so that's going to spice things up quite a bit. We're going to start with Nuzleaf, and before we continue, a quick rundown of the rules is on screen, and you can find them outlined in great detail in the description below. As a Grass Dark type, Nuzleaf is weak to fighting, fire, flying, ice, and poison, and wouldn't you know it, Kanto is loaded with poison types. And although she likes to call herself the Ghost Specialist, Agatha realistically is the poison type Elite Four member because her entire team has poison types. That's going to be a lot of fun. While we are slightly better with physical attacks, checking out the base stat total here, we are still going to be rocking special attacks for a majority of the run. Speaking of which, here's Nuzleaf's uninspiring level up moveset to go with those mediocre stats. Yeah, I called it mediocre, I was being generous there. Anyway, this moveset's nothing to write home about. Growth will help us power up Feint Attack, which is special in Gen 3, as are all Dark moves, and Extra Sensory. That move is the absolute linchpin to our success against Koga and, later, Agatha. Now, Extra Sensory, once we get it, we're going to keep it the whole run, so let's go over the rest of the moves available to us, as well as the Egg move that we chose. Well, it does get a little bit better here. There is potential for some Sunny Day Solar Beam strats, and we might make use of Brick Break early. The TM for Brick Break can be found where Body Slam is found in Gen 1, so that's aboard the SS, and a 75 base power fighting move this early on would be pretty sweet. And now, before we get to the first gym leader, Misty, we gotta fight this junior hiker guy coming up here. Now, on paper, we have the type advantage, and because we chose Leech Seed amongst our egg moves, because we don't actually learn any grass moves via power-up, which, yeah, that's pretty on brand for Game Freak's early design. There's really nothing to write home about regarding this guy. We slap Leech Seed onto Geodude and Onix when it comes out, spam Growth, spam Harden, just to waste some turns, and to get tanky for Onix. You know, this guy, the warm-up hiker, is the equivalent of the guy who peaked in high school. Like, just think about it. This Joker's best team in the early gens is in Pokemon Yellow when his Onix has Bind and is kind of fast. Here he has Tackle, Bind, and Rock Tomb, which he should be spamming, but I guess he doesn't like the idea of getting the same type of attack bonus from the TM move he gives you. And while this is all very exciting, let's go ahead and cut on over to when we get to Cerulean City, do our usual routine, go behind the guy's house, take his candy, which I'm sure is not bait. We grabbed a Mega Kick along the way, and we're going to put that to use against Misty right here, right now. We hit, and we crit with Mega Kick. Awesome start. Now, Starmie won't use Water Pulse. It will go for Swift, however. Pretty strong for this point in the game. Also, we're pretty frail. We can slap on Leech Seed to stay healthy, and we can also miss with Mega Kick to even the odds, I guess. Great. And, well, that critical Swift, since it can't miss, probably did doom us. I say probably because, hey, you never know. Starmie could get a really low damage roll and keep us in the game here. I do think Mega Kick is the right call. We could have equipped Thief and gone for the same type attack bonus, super effective Thief, but I don't think it would have been as good. And there's our first loss. I guess we'll never know that hypothetical. And our second try against Starmie is embarrassingly short because of unlucky crits. Fortunately, Staryu is pretty easy to get by, no trouble there. Back to Starmie. I am really liking Mega Kick's damage. That'll definitely be a 2-shot, especially with Leech Seed. Please don't miss. Alright, there's Swift, no crit, very good. There's Mega Kick, we hit, booyah. Now, speaking of Swift, we do have Nature Power, which becomes Swift not only indoors, which is kind of nice. Coming up against a Cerulean rival, I thought it would become a grass move, but nope, it's Swift. I guess it has to do with being on a bridge. I bring that up because this fight is notoriously annoying because of Sand Attack, but we don't have to worry about that this fight. Mega Kick is not a one-shot, but no Sand Attack, so we should be alright. Nature Power Swift takes down Pidgeotto. Next up is Charmander. We're faster, go for Mega Kick, and it's a one-shot. Next up, because of our typing, he'll send out Rattata, which isn't going to be a problem. We don't one-shot it with Nature Power Swift, but all he does is go for Tail Whip, and we're good to go. And now we have one here. That's not a spoiler, because Abra can't fight back, and even if it had Confusion, well, we're Dark type, so it would be powerless against us anyway, so we're going to totally flex on the rival here. Does it waste time? Yeah, a little bit, but I was feeling spiteful that day. So a first try against the Cerulean rival, the SSN, should go the same way, especially because we're higher level. Brick Break doesn't one-shot, we get hit by Sand Attack, but we have Nature Power Swift to bypass that. Next up is Charmeleon, who goes for Smokescreen, we hit with Swift. Ember deals quite a bit of damage, but we're in no danger here as we take him down. Next up is going to be Raticate. We were able to outmuscle Raticate. Hyper Fang doesn't deal nearly enough damage to us. And about the only thing Kadabra could do is disable us, which is not going to really affect us in any way, shape, or form. Next up is Lieutenant Surge. We have Secret Power for this fight because we do not want to make contact with Pikachu or Raichu because of the Static ability, which can paralyze us on a 1 to 3 chance. We'll switch the Bullet Seed to take out Voltorb to conserve some power points. Out comes Pikachu, and we are faster. We go for Secret Power. He's super frail. We have a 70 base attack. It goes down no problem. Last up is his ace, Raichu, who's quite the downgrade from Pokemon Yellow, I must say. We do over half with Secret Power. He goes for a double team. Will that matter? Survey says nope. Okay, so Nuzleaf has a pretty good start here. Aside from that minor hiccup with Misty, real strong start. Pretty standard for grass types here in Kanto. So while he makes progress, let's go ahead and focus on Lombre. Now, we gotta get past this guy and his little cheerleader here in order to make our way to the first real challenge of this video. And once we're all done here, we're gonna go ahead and make our way over to Cerulean City, do our usual rigmarole of going into the backyard, grabbing the rare candy, which is almost certainly bait. Well, it's working on me because I like rare candies. And just like with Nuzleaf, we're gonna go to Misty first because our typing is perfect. We quad resist water moves, which is what this gym is full of. And not sure if you saw the time on Nuzleaf before. It was about an hour before we got here. Here? Yeah, we're here in half the time with Lombre. I think we're gonna be alright. But will Lombre take more than one try to win? I don't know. Let's see. Now, we are slower than Staryu, which is actually kind of alright because we have Absorb, we can regain some health, and even better, Misty will use her Super Potion on her weaker Pokemon, making Starmie just a little bit easier when we get to it. And yeah, we slipped in a Growl. Bet you didn't expect to see that move in this run. That's actually going to be very useful, especially once Starmie gets out. Anything that can reduce their attack power is going to be monumental to our success. And we hit level 20 as Staryu goes down. That's pretty cool. We're going to switch over to Growl, and well, we are going to take a full Power Swift here, but going forward, that attack reduction absolutely going to save us. And then from there, we just spam Absorb. Now, while we should win this war of attrition, if we get crit, it's Goodnight Irene. Now, in addition to Absorb restoring some of our health, the Oran Berry that we equipped, which will give us 10 HP, well, let's just say that's our critical hit insurance policy. And because Misty chose to heal Staryu instead of Starmie, we emerge victorious on the first try. Now, the big question here is, can Lombre repeat Nuzleaf's success against the Cerulean rival? And just like with Nuzleaf, we're going to be fighting Charmander, which is going to be easy early on because we have a water move, but we quad resist Blastoise. The strongest move going into the final fight would be Bite, which is laughable. And the 2 Intimidate users that come with Venusaur aren't going to amount to anything because we're going to be using special attacks mostly on Lombre towards the end. Alrighty, Cerulean rival, are you ready to dance? Well, I do Zumba dance, so I guess I could lead that. And hey, right on cue, critical Water Pulse, down goes Pidgeotto, and we should be alright here because, well, no Sand Attack to worry about. Water Pulse with the same type attack bonus is going to crush this team. But yeah, getting back to the earlier point with Charmander, yeah, we're super effective right now, and we will be for the duration of the game. However, Charizard's going to be the fastest, and he will have Wing Attack and Aerial Ace, which is super effective against us. That was actually a difficult choice for Lombre, and I figured to keep it as apples to apples as possible, having both of them fight Charizard at the end of the game is going to be the best way to compare these two. And, well, if you really liked the start to that Cerulean rival battle, let's pivot on over to the SSN, where on turn 1 we once again critically hit with Water Pulse. Why can't this happen in, like, every run? Oh yeah, something I probably should have done at the start was show off Nuzleaf's level up moves, egg move, all that good stuff, so while this easy fight plays out, here they are on screen. Well, if nothing else, you can see a Pokemon video of someone willingly giving Lombre Water Gun as an egg move, and it paid dividends early on. Now, that didn't help us get by the first gym, the first unofficial gym, because we have Absorb. It actually just made the bug catchers a little bit easier. Now, because we're part Water-type, Surge actually could be a challenge here. Electricity will deal neutral damage to us, and Voltorb is definitely going to be faster. Luckily, he misses with Sonic Boom. Surge goes for a Super Potion, but because we almost one-shot it, it's pretty inconsequential. I'm just glad this thing doesn't have self-destruct like Watson's Voltorb, otherwise we'd be in serious trouble. Next up is Pikachu, whom we outspeed, being 11 levels higher. Water Pulse, one shot, all it takes. Next up is Raichu, who despite being faster hits us with Thunder Wave. That did a lot. Like, he already has the speed advantage. I mean, yeah, we have a 1 in 4 chance of losing our turn, but we didn't miss that time either. We trade Shockwave and Absorb. We get it by Shockwave, brought to 29. We miss Water Pulse thanks to Double Team. We eat our Oran Berry, a Shockwave. We don't miss Water Pulse. Down he goes. Now, you thought I was joking around about Surge. Nah, he was actually kind of challenging this time. As Lombre makes his way on over to Celadon City, let's cut back on over to Nuzleaf, who will be facing off against Giovanni for the first time. 2 hours and 20 minutes, not a fan of that, but hey, if we can get through this fight quickly, I won't mind that so much. Growth Feint Attack does not one-shot, but hey, we can continue to set up here, which we do. We top off our growths, take little damage, take him out with a Brick Break. Out comes Rhyhorn, who's one-shot by Feint Attack. We do survive Mega Punch from Kangaskhan, thankfully it didn't crit, and after a second Feint Attack, it's goodnight Irene. Nobody sticks around long after taking a finisher like that. So while we go ahead and get the Fly HM and then make our way to Lavender Tower, just a quick rundown of what's been going on these past couple months. Now, because it's been about 9 months since the last upload, I don't live in Gulfport anymore. Moved back home to be closer to fam. Work was very busy when I first got here, and we had a severe medical emergency with one of my family members. But I'm not as busy these days, and my family member in question is doing much better, so yeah, I'd say it's win-win all around. And you know what's going to be even better all around is if we don't get hit by Sand Attack while we're setting up growth here. And so far we're not. However, we are eating super effective damage from Gust and brought to 58 health. And with proper setup, I think, well, actually I know with that one shot from Feint Attack, we should be alright. Hey, so remember at the beginning when I said that Extrasensory is going to be an awesome counter for Koga and later Agatha? Well, we get that at level 49, so if you'll excuse me as we breeze our way through this incredibly easy fight, I'm just going to let you know that we, after this, are going to be leveling up like crazy. At this point, I haven't decided if we're going to be battling Erica yet, but at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what, no, let's just go level up, take on Koga, get him out of the way. Right here he is. We need to beat him to be able to use Surf outside of battle anyway. So obviously, being all the way at level 51, Coughing is going to stand absolutely no chance against Extrasensory. We don't get the same type of attack bonus from it, but it's still a psychic move, it's decently strong, and we didn't miss Muck after that minimize, thank the gods. Next up is the second Coughing, who goes down to an unnecessary critical hit Extrasensory. I wish we saved that for Wheezing. As Wheezing comes out, we do not one-shot with Extrasensory, but we do get a flinch. Koga has more than one Hyper Potion, so we'll switch to Feint Attack while he heals, and then we'll swap back to Extrasensory to ensure the 2-shot. Now, in order to prepare for the Silphco rival battle, let's go ahead and backtrack and take out Erica. I mean, we're much higher level at this point, so she should be obsolete. However, we have a Sherry Berry equipped just in case, because I do want to set up one growth just for safety. And you know what they say, better safe than sorry. Victory Bell and Vileplume are both one-shots with Extrasensory. We'll switch to Feint Attack on Tangela. I mean, just because. It has terrible special defense. Now, let's see how these level ups were actually necessary for this fight right here. Now, it's absolutely vital that we set up growth. We have to do it against Pidgeot, which is unfortunate. Sometimes he'll go for Feather Dance, but he doesn't here, unfortunately. And with Charizard, we'll go for Extrasensory just for that flinch chance. Well, that didn't work out, and we go down. Now, in this second sped-up attempt here, we do actually get the Feather Dance, but, well, unfortunately, I'll just say it a few seconds earlier, we get crit by Wing Attack, which is really unfortunate, and it's exactly why setting up against this guy is so risky. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about Sand Attack this fight. Now, we're getting successfully set up here. We have to watch out for Quick Attack. He does have that. Fortunately, we're not brought down low enough, otherwise he would have gone for it. I bet you thought we were going to win that particular attempt, didn't you? Oh yeah, fake out right here at Ralzora's Pokemon Shenanigans. Hashtag RPS fake out. Now, I will switch to Feint Attack for Charizard because with the same type of attack bonus, we deal just a little bit more damage, and, well, we actually deal quite a bit of damage. Only for us to fall a bit short here, so I'm like, you know what? In the first time in the history of this channel, the black glasses, which we got back at the game corner, are going to be useful. The black glasses boost your dark damage by 10%. Actually, guy, it is 10% because it's Gen 3. From Gen 4 onward, it becomes 20%. Thanks for playing. But yeah, seriously, it does make a difference here because we now one-shot Charizard. And not only that, obviously the Psychic types on this team are no trouble. We one-shot the Gyarados. That's what prompted me, if you saw through the sped-up footage, what prompted me to get the black glasses. It was so close, but so far in the end, it didn't even matter. Well, it matters here because now we can move forward. And right away, we're going to get Lapras. That way we can swim over to Cinnabar Island with Surf. And let's check out this Rocket before Giovanni. This is going to be a pretty funny fight here. Oh, what a bitch. Just like Giovanni here at Silphco. Can we back up that talk? I don't know. Well, let's check it out. Well, considering that he leads off with Nidorino, I'd say Extra Sensory is going to be the way to go here. Doesn't make contact, so no risk of poison point. Nidoqueen's going to be a 2-shot. We do get hit by Tail Whip, though. Next up's Kangaskhan. We did get hit by Tail Whip, but we only took 52 damage from Mega Punch. I'm kind of surprised at that. I thought it'd be more. And last is Rhyhorn. 1-shot with Feint Attack. We're good. Well, as Team Rocket blasts off and we get ready to go battle Sabrina, let's go ahead and check back in on our homeboy Lombre. Giovanni's just blasting off back to the past where he's about to get whooped a second time. I mean, it's Water Grass type. You really think he's going to put up a fight? And you know this is going to be an awesome fight because we still have Absorb on our moveset. And yes, it is going to heal us from taking out Onix. And because we want to conserve power points and just humiliate Giovanni, let's go and use that base 20 power move to take out Rhyhorn as well. Now, Kangaskhan is pretty darn strong. Unlike in Gen 1, the special defense on this thing is really good. We actually do not have a good answer for this thing. I mean, having Water Pulse Confuse would be awesome, but we're not having much luck with that. I consider Secret Power, hoping for the Paralysis chance to outspeed it, but I could not account for the strategy of Giovanni throwing the fight by using Bite, a special attack in Gen 3, and just letting us squeak out a victory here. He's a real bro. Starting to think he's trying to rig it for Lombre. Now, as we get ready to battle the Lavender Tower rival, we have a new little weapon here. In the form of Hidden Power, we chose Hidden Power Electric because I thought that because Lombre can learn Ice Beam via TM, which we're totally getting that move, well, Electric's just nice to have because in the mandatory Gyarados fights coming up, it's going to be a great counter for that. Now, while this battle shouldn't be difficult in any way, shape, or form, the fact that we don't have a good answer for Execute, which is why I brought up Ice Beam, means that this fight is going to be dragged out just a little bit. Secret Power is the way to go here, but because Execute has decent physical defense and it can put us to sleep, and it can confuse us, we got confused off of Confusion, which is a 10% chance. Well, thankfully Lombre knows what a natural 20 is, down goes Execute, so we should be alright. Next up is Kadabra. Now, we don't have Nature Power Swift for Kinesis here, but fortunately for us, we don't need it, and we really embarrass him by taking him out with Absorb. Man, Water Gun and Absorb, if you want to run where low-power moves have been getting the spotlight, this is the run for you. And yes, I would not mind learning Thief for the mandatory Ghost Trainers in here. Could have had that for Execute, but it's whatever. Oh yeah, right, I have one more guy to cover. Charmeleon, he gets one shot by Water Pulse. Very amazing. Moving on. Yeah, I know that was a real shocker, had you on the edge of your seat there. Don't worry, because Charmeleon, it becomes Charizard next fight, and he stops being easy. Now, Erica could be threatening because we take neutral damage from grass moves, but, well, we're about to bust out Ice Beam and make that no big deal. We're a higher level here because I was grinding, Meowth was picking up some good stuff, and I was hunting down some items to be able to buy the TM. That said, I don't think we're going to have to worry nearly as much about Koga. Yeah, we are weak to his team, but we can get Rain Dance east of Fuchsia, which will power up our water moves. That should help. And I figure, hey, once we beat Erica, which is imminent, we're going to go to Fuchsia, just get Koga out of the way. Now, I don't think I'm going to give Lombre Surf, because I'd rather him get Hydro Pump. When we're this weak, we need to be as strong as we possibly can. Yeah, it can miss, but it's a lot of base power. And as we go and get Rain Dance, unfortunately, we are going to say goodbye to Absorb, which has been unbelievably useful this run. If we really want to move like it, we can always teach a Giga Drain later. Not for this fight, though. And at 256 before Koga, while Nuzleaf was 220 before the first Giovanni fight, yeah, I'd say that Lombre has a considerable lead here. Now, against Coughing, we're going to have to risk the Biscuit for sending up Rain Dance here, because we could get hit by Smokescreen or Toxic. And I was right to be worried about that. We end up missing with Water Pulse and unfortunately get hit by a second Smokescreen, but we do hit, taking out Coughing. That's 2 accuracy drops. Surprisingly, we don't miss Muck. That's nice. We set up Rain Dance against Coughing and get hit by a third Smokescreen. Coughing 2 goes down, we miss Wheezing, get hit by Sludge for 79 of our health. And that is solid damage from Rain Dance, but we go down. So this might take a couple of tries, but our strategy is sound. We just have to, unfortunately, get lucky and hit Koga. Now, Toxic can miss, which is cool, but the Pecha Berry is our Toxic/Poison insurance, one-time use, of course. And it's funny I mention that because as we set up Rain Dance, Coughing misses with Toxic, and we one-shot it. Our accuracy is intact. Now, Muck has really awesome special defense, so we have a bit of trouble here. But despite being healed, we go for Ice Beam and we freeze Muck, which gives us a free turn to set up. Water Pulse takes him down. Out comes the second Coughing, which is, of course, a one-shot with the Rain Dance stab Water Pulse. And Wheezing goes for Smokescreen, but we hit all the same. And you know what the best part is? That if we need substitute for later on, we can use it. Now, sometimes I will pick up that move tutor move because I like to make fun of the Gen 3 slop battle mechanics, AI, whatever you want to call it. But because we're part grass type, it's kind of pointless. The substitute can shut down Koga, but if you're weak to his team, it's not going to help you nearly as much as you might think. Now, in the first battle against the Silphco rival, we're doing more of a scouting battle here. We'll need to test out the damage of moves like Ice Beam and Hidden Power. Ice Beam not one-shotting Pidgeot is not surprising, but it is unfortunate all the same. Now, when we were here as Nuzleaf, we were a higher level and we were a bit faster. As Charizard comes out, however, we're going to find that we are slower, and as you see, he has Wing Attack. He can deal super effective damage to us. Hidden Power Electric is dealing about half damage, but unfortunately, we cannot tank a second Wing Attack. Now, naturally, being slower is a problem when we're this frail, and even if we were able to beat Charizard, something fast like Alakazam or maybe even the Gyarados could take us out. But I have a strategy in mind as I continue to test out damage ranges and all that wonderful stuff. Now, Rain Dance is awesome not just for boosting damage and cutting fire damage in half, but we have the ability Swift Swim. Swift Swim, when we're under the effects of rain, boosts our speed. I believe it doubles the score. Check this out, case in point, we're faster, and well, we did crit Charizard, which we probably did need. Next up is going to be Execute, whom we can take out with Ice Beam. The rain stops at Alakazam, takes 2 Ice Beams, but he does let off a Future Sight. Hidden Power Electric, however, more than enough to deal with Gyarados, and yes, we will be taking Hydro Pump, thank you very much. Hydro Pump with the same type attack bonus will bump it up to 180 base power. Under the effects of Rain Dance, that increases it by 50%, that should be 270. And yes, Surf has 100 accuracy, it is safer, but again, being as weak as we are, we definitely want to be able to deal as much damage as possible. I think that 1 in 5 chance to miss is worth the payoff. And we have Lapras for Surf, so it's no big deal. And I probably should have used Hydro Pump because we got crit by Poison Sting and Poison were now below half health. Or around it, something like that. Hydro Pump destroys Nidoqueen. Kangaskhan does survive and hits us with Rage, so by the time we take it out, we're at 13 health, and Rhyhorn comes out, and we faint to poison damage. Well, there goes my theory about him rigging it for Lombre. Yeah, this time we're going to take that 80% accuracy and one-shot Nidorino with it. Nidoqueen gets Hydro Pumped, but she tanks it. We get hit by Tail Whip, finish her off with Ice Beam. When Kangaskhan comes out, we'll go and set up Rain Dance, and Hydro Pump, that was probably a low damage roll, and we get hit by Mega Punch, we do survive. We'll switch to Electric Hidden Power, and as Rhyhorn comes out, it can't tank a single Ice Beam, and we are victorious. So, Nuzleaf and Lombre are about to battle Sabrina. We're going to go back to Nuzleaf, who is Dark-type, which means this is going to be an absolute joke. You know a fight's going to be in the bag when the most we have to worry about is Leech Life from Venomoth, which we do take 4 times damage from, but it's still 20 base power in this game. I think we're going to be alright. We set up Growth, he sets up Calm Mind, and we use Secret Power to make that obsolete. We'll use Extra Sensory on Venomoth, one-shot, super effective damage. And we win because the only way we'll take damage in this fight is if Alakazam uses Future Sight. That does bypass type immunities in this game. Now for the complete opposite, Blaine, who is probably going to destroy us quite a few times. Our main strategy here is going to be set up Growth and hope to heck that Fire Blast misses. And he sends out Growlithe, whose Intimidate is pretty pointless. We have a physical attack, but we're not going to use it this fight, especially after setting up Growth, and we take, well, about half of our health from Fire Blast, so hopefully this will one-shot. Alright, with +1 special attack, we go for Feint Attack, and it does one-shot. Now, next up, Ponyta is going to come out, and I decide to be really risky here and set up a second Growth, hoping that Fire Blast will miss. Can you guess what happens? Did you see those hit points trickle down? Bye-bye. Well, with 1 Growth, we can get through Growlithe and Ponyta, and as Rapidash comes out, we get a critical hit, so we can test the damage against Arcanine as well. Well, it puts Arcanine in healing range, but we get unnecessarily crit by Fire Blast. So yeah, wasn't joking around. That's the strat. Hope Fire Blast misses. We're going to set up a couple of Growths, or hope we get a critical hit against Arcanine. And because one of Growlithe's Fire Blasts did miss, we actually do one-shot Rapidash. And sorry, Arcanine, the game was, in fact, rigged from the start. Now, I did do the Sevi Isles optional side quest on both of these Pokemon, but I'm not going to show that this time around. The video is already long enough as is. Against Giovanni, we one-shot Rhyhorn with Feint Attack. Nidoqueen comes out and gets one-shot by Extra Sensory, which means we will one-shot Nidoking. Yeah, I'd say that we have this in the bag, and we can use Secret Power on Dugtrio just because it has worse defense. Yeah, wasn't concerned about this fight. We are hilariously over-leveled, although that kind of makes up for our bad base stat total. We might have been able to slap Giovanni sideways, but before we get to the Elite Four, we have to battle our rival one more time, and there's no way that's going to be simple. Now, you know, out of all the benefits of having stuff like being able to customize our hidden power, having an egg move, the absolute MVP of Nuzleaf's moveset has been Growth. So as Pidgeot comes out, you know the routine, we're going to set up Growth, we're going to eat Wing Attacks. No Feather Dance here, unfortunately, but it only takes 2 for us to one-shot with Feint Attack. Unfortunately, not enough to one-shot Charizard. We go down easily to Flamethrower. So our boy Nuzleaf's in quite a pickle here. Whatever shall he do? Is it A, go level up some more? Option B, go for a good old session of crit fishing, 6.25% chance. What are the odds of that? I mean, we did kill Arcanine with that, so I guess I shouldn't be smack-talking it too much. Although I do think we should top off our level at 68 because, I mean, victory is nowhere in sight. Although there is something we can take advantage of here. Because this Pidgeot still has Feather Dance, he has it for the rest of the game. Once in a while he'll go for that, and that's great for us because Feather Dance isn't going to do squat because Feint Attack is special in this game. And that's just the real weakness to Nuzleaf in Generation 3 is that it can't take full advantage of its typing because it's more of a physical attacker. But Grass and Dark moves are special, and Dark moves are very weak in Gen 3. Oh yeah, there's one more thing we can do. Nuzleaf also has Hidden Power Electric. I wasn't sure whether to go with this or Ice, but I was like, nah, let's go with Electric because it deals super effective damage against Charizard and Pidgeot. And Gyarados, well, that means Lance is going to be a real pain, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. And as you can see, we did top off our level at 68, so we went and grinded a little bit, came back, and wouldn't you know, that one little can of spinach just made us stronger, made all the difference. Actually, no, it was Hidden Power. Who am I trying to kid? Well, back to Lombre. Let's see how he does against Sabrina. He doesn't have the type immunity. What we do have, however, is Rain Dance, not only to make us faster, but it'll boost the damage of Hydro Pump. And despite Kadabra's best efforts with Calm Mind, it cannot survive Hydro Pump. And as Venomoth comes out, we go for Hydro Pump. Not only do we not miss, but we get a critical hit for good measure. Next up on the chopping block is Mrs. Mime, who gets one shot by Hydro Pump. And last up is Alakazam, and oh, what's that? You're sick of hearing about Hydro Pump? Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you because Alakazam gets one shot by Hydro Pump. Now, call me crazy, go right ahead, but I think Blaine's going to be a fair bit easier. Now, granted, we don't resist Fire Blast, we'll take neutral damage from it, but Rain Dance will cut the damage in half. Couple that with our high-risk, high-reward strategy of just pumping everything into the dirt, and I think we're going to see an easy first-try victory. I could be wrong, though. I've been wrong before. Oh, man, you ever seen Fire Blast deal 21 damage? Ah, I love Rain Dance. And as long as Hydro Pump does hit Growlithe, which it does here, there's no way it's going to survive, and the same can be said for Ponyta. And thanks to Swift Swim, we're not going to be slower than anything here either. Next up is Rapidash, we're now faster, and we one-shot with Hydro Pump. Last but certainly not least is Arcanine, who tries his best to put on his scary face with Intimidate, but I think it's a futile gesture, and he's actually quivering in his, I was going to say boots, but paws, I guess? Well, doesn't matter because one Hydro Pump's all it takes. And yeah, if Nuzleaf had such an easy time with Giovanni, obviously our boy Lombre here going to have no trouble whatsoever. Now, we're not going to set up against Rhyhorn because of Scary Face. And short of that, the only real threat in this battle is the potential to get paralyzed off of Body Slam, which, well, thankfully that does not happen, so we're going to be all right. It's not prom night, no, that was a long time ago. Now, as we saw, as we get ready to prepare to battle our rival before we make our way to the Elite Four, Nuzleaf had quite a bit of trouble with this fight. We had to bust out Hidden Power for our little guy finally. What about for Lombre? We have much better coverage here. I mean, we have Hidden Power Electric as well, so I mean, I guess that makes sense. But with Rain Dance, we'll have the speed advantage over Charizard, and it should not survive Hydro Pump. And you know, I'm feeling so good about this strategy that we're going to forego Ice Beam, set up Rain Dance, and see if it one-shots Pidgeot. The base power is higher with Rain Dance, so actually I think it's more powerful anyway, with the same type of attack bonus, so yeah, bye-bye. As for Charizard, get out of here. Actually, speaking of Rain Dance, that's another reason why I didn't want to fight Blastoise with Lombre, is because Blastoise has Rain Dance, so it would actually be helping us out. It's just that Lombre's unique typing really makes it to where none of Kanto's starters are going to be a problem for it. Well, gosh, man, compared to Nuzleaf, Lombre had a real easy time with this one. There's been a couple points in this run where Nuzleaf has done better, But as you saw before we battled this rival, we were just over 4 hours at 418, I believe it was. So I think the contest is almost going to be cut and dry here. I say almost because I could be wrong, because Lombre could totally screw the pooch in the end game here. And in order to demonstrate just how much of a disadvantage Nuzleaf's at right now, we're going to lead off against the Elite Four with it. We're also going to go and buff up with some rare candies. No reason to not power ourselves up a little bit. Don't want to use them all here because we want to try to get Nuzleaf's level as low as possible, and it's already pretty high. At the 6-hour mark going into Lorelei, let's hope this little guy can clutch it out. Now, the Dugong she leads off with likes to set up Hail. That'll give us a free turn for growth. Case in point right here. It also likes to go for Safeguard, so we could get in possibly 2. Well, we can definitely get in the second one. However, we get hit by Ice Beam. Yeah, that was not a critical hit. We're in double digits. We get to attack now. With Hidden Power Electric, Dugong goes down. Next up is Slowbro. Obviously, we're going to be faster. I used Hidden Power. I should have used Feint Attack just to be sure here because it would have done a lot more damage, but we one-shot it, so I guess it's alright. Next up is Jinx. That's an interesting choice. I mean, it does have Ice Punch, but we're faster, and Feint Attack obviously is going to one-shot it. Now, next up, Lorelei opts to send out Lapras. Not much of a surprise there. And we go for Hidden Power Electric. It almost one-shots. That was probably a low damage range. But almost is not enough, as Lapras is very easily able to finish us off. This time, Dugong goes for Safeguard, so we can set up a third growth and start going to town. Electric Hidden Power one-shots Dugong, and Slowbro. Yeah, I didn't use Feint Attack again, but well, we didn't really need to, so again, no farm? I'm an idiot. No harm, no foul. But you know what's cool? Lapras and Cloyster are one-shots. Now here's an interesting situation because Bruno is going to be super effective against us thanks to our Dark type, and we're super effective against him too. Now he does lead off with Onyx, whom we deal neutral damage to, but it has pitiful special defense and is extremely weak at this point in the game. I am tempted to go for Growth, but I don't want to get my speed dropped by Rock Tomb, so we're just going to take it out. Well, next up is Hitmonchan, who does have Rock Tomb, and Extra Sensory, unfortunately, is not able to one-shot. We don't get the same type of attack bonus, and Hitmonchan's like, you don't want your speed dropped? Too bad. Now, Bruno will heal here, which is fine, because we deal plenty of damage with Extra Sensory. What's interesting is that we're either at a speed tie, or we're faster, because we strike first against Hitmonchan and take him down. Problem is, next up is Hitmonlee, who is faster than us. And as Hitmonlee comes out, you're going to see just how much damage Brick Break deals. It brought us all the way to 63, and it wasn't even a crit. And we don't one-shot Hitmonlee either. This is why we cannot afford a speed drop. Now, I don't think fishing for a Rock Tomb miss is the hardest thing in the world. It has 80 accuracy in this generation. And Hitmonchan, right away, actually ends up going for Sky Uppercut. Thankfully, we don't get crit. Bruno heals, we set up Growth, and now we take him down. Hitmonlee's a one-shot. Machamp survives, does not miss Cross Chop, and we're done. So I tried to set up Growth against Onyx. We get hit by Rock Tomb. That's a reset. This time, however, as we go for Growth, we get hit by Iron Tail. I guess he was trying to drop our defense. Well, good for you, buddy. You dealt no damage, practically, and we can sweep our way back to Machamp. Thanks for playing, Rock Snake. Yeah, kind of makes you wonder why he doesn't have a Primeape or a Poliwrath, or both. And although we get hit by Scary Face, Bruno heals, we go for Extra Sensory. That is a whopper of a damage roll. I bet you that was the highest possible one we could have gotten. Anyway, as we get ready to fight Agatha, this is the fight I've been worried about the entire game. Her whole team is super effective against us, but we do have Growth and Extra Sensory, so maybe, just maybe, we're not as screwed as we were in the Trico run. Yeah, that part of that run was no fun, thanks for asking. With one Growth, Gengar goes down. We outspeed the second Gengar, that surprises me, and we should be good. And yeah, if we're faster than the second Gengar, we're going to outspeed everything else, and one shot at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're done. Wow, Agatha turned out to be no trouble at all. That is very satisfying. However, Lance is going to be a problem. The Dragonite has 134 base power, has wing attack, has the same type attack bonus, and we have a 40 defense, and we're weak to it. Yeah, I think we're in trouble. And he has inner focus, so we can't flinch him off of Extra Sensory. We'll set up 2 Growths here while we get slapped by Dragon Rage. Not a problem. Hidden Power takes out Gyarados. Aerodactyl brings us to 49, and we take him out. And with 2 Growths, look how much damage we deal to Dragonite with Extra Sensory. Yeah, we're in a bit of trouble here. Well, howdy there, friends. This is Rosador once again, and finding himself in a sticky wicket. Whatever is he going to do to battle and get his way past Lance here without going back, doing everything over again, and grinding to an absurd level? I don't want a repeat of Trico. Actually, while there is luck involved, it's not the kind of lucky strat you might think it is, because while Gyarados loves Dragon Rage, sometimes he'll go for Bite, yeah, even if we're with Dark type, which is funny. Or he'll go for Twister. If we can get him to go with those moves, we should have enough health. For what, you might ask? For Aerodactyl to go for Scary Face. That speed drop will suck, but we can get in more growths, and possibly one-shot Dragonite with Feint Attack. Well, apparently Gyarados is a fan of playing Twister the hot spot because we get in plenty of growths here. But unfortunately that was jinxed because he goes for Dragon Rage and Aerodactyl brings us to 26 health, so we're back at the start. Nah, just kidding, we got a nat 20 against Dragonite. And well, funny enough, after Dragonite, this is going to be simple because Dragonair's pretty weak. We one-shot both of them with Feint Attack. Now there's just one trainer separating us from total victory. Pidgeot unfortunately does have Sand Attack back on his roster. I guess Blue was farming mushrooms while he was waiting for us to make our way through Victory Road. Or he just happened to have some in stock and just, like, kidnapped the mover learner and brought him along. I mean, he was on the Sevi Isles, that does make sense. Well, after making some last-minute preparations, we're at 6 hours and 13 minutes making our way to the Champion. I gotta say, after getting by Lance, I'm feeling pretty optimistic here. We don't have anything as massively hurtling as Dragonite to deal with. And Pidgeot can waste time with Sand Attack and let us just power up Growth and just spam Feint Attack to victory. Let's hope he does that. Of course he's not. Who are you kidding? Well, let's see how many we can actually get in before we have to go on the offensive here. There's Growth, there's Aerial Ace right away, that's new. Round 2, Growth and Aerial Ace. Our Citrus Berry kicks in. We gotta go on the attack now, that's 2 Growths. Well, we do take out Pidgeot, which is awesome. And we're faster than Charizard, and we don't one-shot him. That's a pity. And now, because it took me forever to get by Lance, I was pretty annoyed at this point, so after resetting and all that good stuff, I decided to just go ahead and Rare Candy up. Now, I could have probably just fished for Sand Attack or Feather Dance and used Growth to just one more time or 2 more times to get past that problem. I guess when all else fails, just get above level 80 and hope for the best. And it's funny I say that too because we go for Growth right here, and of course Pidgeot goes for Sand Attack now. I will say though, we take a lot less damage off of Aerial Ace now, and he still goes down in 1 hit. We don't miss Charizard and take him out in 1 hit. Alakazam next, interesting choice, one-shot by Feint Attack. Next up is Rhydon, we one-shot it with Giga Drain and gain all of our health back. Next up is Executor, and we one-shot him with Feint Attack. Last but certainly least is Gyarados, who goes down to Electric-type Hidden Power. Well, that was a pretty rough patch for our poor protagonist here. I can't say I'm surprised by it, but hey, at least we won the run, right? Now, to answer a question that might be on your mind here, why not Shiftry and Ludicolo? They're way stronger. Well, Ludicolo and Shiftry evolve via Moonstone, so they don't get any level-up moves. I didn't think it would be that interesting. And that means that Shiftry would not have gotten Extra Sensory, which would have made some of these fights, like Koga and Agatha, way more difficult. Anyway, Nuzleaf finishes at level 82, which, I mean, could be better, but all things considered, he was able to beat the game. I'm proud of the little guy. And our boy finished at 6 hours and 17 minutes. Switching back on over to Lombre, we can go ahead, prepare, all that good stuff. Check our time here at 5 hours and 2 minutes. Well, Lombre has about an hour to work with here, so unless he screws the pooch at the very end here, he should secure victory. That critical hit against Dugong's a great start. Lorelei uses a full restore, I go for Hidden Power, bring it just above half. And because I thought Thick Fat for some reason was fire and water reduction, I went for Ice Beam, and, well, that was a bad idea. And we get punished for that because we get crit by Ice Beam as we set up Rain Dance. Dugong goes down, Cloyster goes down in 1 hit as well. Just for fun, I try out Hydro Pump on Slowbro. It actually does more than I was expecting. I try to freeze with Ice Beam, no chance, and we get taken out. Well, considering how much damage we did to Dugong based off a crit, I think it's time we pop some rare candies here. Yeah, I decided to save one of them, I guess because I thought it would be a good luck charm or something. I don't remember why I saved just one. It's been a while. And I will say the rare candying pays off right away. We do a lot more damage with Hidden Power. We take an Ice Beam, doesn't deal that much damage. We take out Dugong with the follow-up hit. We go for Rain Dance as Cloyster sets up Protect. That's perfect. Then we go for Hidden Power, take it out. And I just really wanted to use Hydro Pump on Slowbro, and I was rewarded for that boldness with a critical hit one-shot. Jinx gets pumped so hard that makes Mr. Popo jealous. Last up, she sends out Lapras, and things take a turn for the worse as she survives Hidden Power and hits us with Confuse Ray, but fortunately for us, through the power of awesome RNG, I never thought I'd say that, we don't hit ourselves in confusion and take Lapras down. So you know how Bruno was annoying with those speed control strats? Well, we have Rain Dance and we have Swift Swim, so we don't gotta worry about that. I think Lombre is about to get some payback for Nuzleaf, normally his tag team partner, but in this video, his rival. We get hit by Rock Tomb in the rain. Oh, that's precious. Ice Beam one-shots Onyx, out comes Hitmonchan, who gets one-shot by a critical Hydro Pump. Next up is Hitmonlee, who's a one-shot from a non-critical. We do sadly miss Hydro Pump our first one against Machamp and get hit by Scary Face. As we set up Rain and get hit, we're now faster again. Machamp gets one shot, and we can go ahead and start preparing for Agatha. That was a very easy fight for Nuzleaf, but for Lombre, I'm not so sure. Mind you, the Rain Dance strat is great, but we also have to worry about missing with Hydro Pump, whereas Nuzleaf had reliable 100 accuracy moves. As the first Gengar comes out, we're going to set up Rain Dance. It goes for Double Team. As we go for Hydro Pump, thankfully it does not miss, and it one-shots. Noticing our low power points on Hydro Pump, I go for Ice Beam. As the second Gengar comes out, I make a pretty funny flub here. Wasn't paying attention. Went to set up Rain Dance. It was active, and it stopped, so yeah, we're pretty screwed. And it just goes to show, errors have been made. Restore those power points, and it's round 2. Well, this attempt here is not looking good, as we miss not one, but 2 Hydro Pumps, and we crit the third, so I guess third time's the charm. I misclicked and hit Ice Beam on Arbok like a dummy, but we did not miss Hydro Pump, so hey, cool, I guess. And Gengar misses Hypnosis, and we one-shot with Hydro Pump. That was awesome, because we don't have Rain Dance up. One-shotting Golbat and critting Haunter is just such a wonderful chef's kiss right there, rewarding me for my terrible play against Arbok. Thanks, game. So you know how Lance was a nightmare for Nuzleaf? That's not going to be the case here. We have Ice Beam for the Dragons, we have Hydro Pump for Aerodactyl, and Electric-type Hidden Power for Gyarados. Yeah, we should one-shot sweep them. And to ensure that we don't get one-shot by a critical wing attack, setting up Rain Dance here and tanking Dragon Rage is the play. Gyarados goes down. Next up is Aerodactyl, who gets destroyed by Hydro Pump, and we are faster thanks to Swift Swim. And I am happy to inform you that Dragonite and the 2 Dragonair all get iced in one shot of Ice Beam. Yeah, that makes sense. Just roll with it. I'm happy, okay? After that horrible fight with Nuzleaf, I can afford a bad liner. We'll go ahead and make some last-minute preparations before the champion, restoring our power points, healing, all that good stuff, healing that all of 40 damage we took off of Dragon Rage. Nightmare fuel, I know. And at 5 hours and 15 minutes, we really have to blow this final fight if Nuzleaf's gonna win. That said, I am curious about how Lombre will perform against the champion's team. We have excellent coverage for the entire team, but we don't have any freebies like Alakazam because we're not immune to anything on this team, and we're weak to Pidgeot and Charizard. We're definitely going to need Swift Swim to outspeed Alakazam as well, I think. As we set up Rain Dance, we get hit by Sand Attack, but we do not, surprisingly, miss Hydro Pump. And doubling up on that good luck, we don't miss Charizard either. I think of it as critical threat range, but an unconfirmed critical hit. Beats missing. Now, we don't one-shot Executor. He puts us to sleep, but we have the Chesto Berry just for this. I was afraid of that. The champion really wants to hang on to this Pokemon. I mean, he is named after me, and I love Executor. It's one of my favorites, so it's kind of in character. Next up's Rhydon goes down to 1 Ice Beam. Now, this surprised me right here, is that Gyarados did not go down to 1 Electric-type Hidden Power, but I think the writing's on the wall here. It's looking a little dicey when we miss twice, but third time the charm again.
Some may say that it was luck that helped this team to advance. That doesn't matter to me, because the bottom line is that this team won. They just better keep in mind that luck works in many mysterious ways. Some may say that it was luck that helped this team to advance.
Yeah, at level 76 and 5 hours 20 minutes, Lombre destroyed Nuzleaf. I gotta say too, I really enjoyed both of these runs, mid-evolutions, and it feels like a nice prelude to when we do the mid-evolutions for the starters, which will be Grovyle, Ivysaur, Combuskin, Charmeleon, Marshtomp, and Wartortle. I just want to thank you guys again for watching, and sorry once again that it took so long to update like anything. Things are going to be looking like they're back to normal going forward. We shouldn't have a hiatus like that again. At least I hope so. Knock on wood for me, alright? Appreciate you guys so much, and I will catch you at the next episode. It's Gorefish and Fire Red.